bastards with heroes rise. The dying words to modern skies. Rushing air where power we fight. Strength that breaks you, light in the night. Where the brawn meets the blood. The story told in this love imagination mode. With every stroke, adventures unfold. We's in my soul, soul and soul. Guidance in hand and worlds to explore. Roll the future, hear the dice roll. Gaming realms of muscles drawn. Together in this place where we belong. Doting spells, casting dreams until the dawn. Leveling up and the world to follow. With painted heroes shining bright. Venturing onward in the endless night. Where the brawn meets the blood. The story's told in this storm imagination mode. With every stroke, the vengeance unfold. Peace of my soul, oh soul. Where the brawn meets the blood. The story's told in this storm imagination mode. With every stroke, the fate to light for. Peace of my soul, oh soul.
Oh, hello. How are you? Welcome one, welcome all to Minis and Muscles. The place where the brawn meets, oh, if I can pick one up, the paintbrush. It's Friday, we're here, we made it. Huzzah, it's the end of the week. Yes, get in, it's the weekend. For those of you that work on Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, it's a chance to relax and chill. For those that don't work on Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, I'm sorry. Hopefully you get a chance to chill at the weekend or during the week. But we're here anyway, nonetheless. Let's just make sure I can see my chat and all the rest of it. Can I see my chat? Yeah. Okay, cool. So welcome. Happy Friday, people. Get in. We're on the Friday. We are here at last. And it's time for some geeky shenanigans here every week on Minis and Muscles. We paint miniatures. Miniatures from whatever, actually. Mostly D&D and Warhammer at present. But I might go and buy a Gundam or something and do that on here as well. But we paint miniatures and we chat crap. Anything to do with geek, really. So Pokemon, manga, comics, Warhammer, absolutely Dungeons and Dragons, role-playing games, board games, computer games, absolutely anything to do with the geek culture, essentially. And we sat and have a good old chat and natter about it. So welcome. That's what we do. We have 3 sections of our show every week. The first section is just our general conversation, and this week our general conversation is Space Marines of Warhammer 40,000, because there's been a huge announcement made this week and a new release. So we'll go into that. But that's our general conversation. For the rest of the 2 sessions, we've got our muscle moment. We wouldn't be Minis and Muscles if we didn't talk a little bit about fitness. And that fitness moment is on building bigger biceps. So some tips and tricks how to build a bigger biceps. Then we are doing our hobby horror moment. The price hike point is my hobby horror moment. So we'll go into that later on in the show. So roughly halfway through the show, we do our minis, our muscle moment. Then at the end, towards the end of the show, about 15 minutes to go or so, we normally do our hobby horror. So that is it. That is what we're going to talk about this week. As I said, the general conversation for the entire week, this show is Warhammer 40,000, the Space Marines. Okay, so absolutely anything and everything to do with Space Marines. Could be the video game, could be models, could be books, whatever you want. Let's talk about it. Get it in the chat. Aside from that, let's get this cable out of the way so that that's not in my face the whole time. We'll put it up there. So anyway, let's have a recap on since I saw you last. Ooh, it's been 7 whole days since I saw you last. Wowzers, what's happened? Well, a lot has happened. So, since I saw you last, let me think. First geeky thing I did was I took my Space Marine boys out for a whirl on the table. I was sort of more testing and adjusting in some unit selection, really, just finding out what works. So I played Warhammer with my buddy. He brought his Tyranids, and I played his Space Marines. Got beat quite soundly beat. So I actually sort of retired by about round 3, I think it was. I conceded at round 3 purely because I'd left myself in a silly position, positional-wise on the board, and didn't have enough models to be able to do anything. So I actually retired at round 3, so that was not so great. But then again, it was a test and adjust session, so I'm happy with that. I'm still learning a lot with my Space Marines. It's not like my Sisters of Battle Army where I'm quite proficient at them now. The Space Marines, I'm still learning a lot as we go. So there's that. Since then, I haven't played D&D this week, so it's every other week, so there's no D&D update, although I am playing D&D tomorrow. So I'm running a game for a buddy of mine and his kids, so I'll be running that game of Dungeons and Dragons for those. I was actually literally just before the for this started, I was the other side of the desk, and I was preparing some sort of character folders and things like that, so I was building all that out. What else? I might be playing Warhammer on Sunday as well, so it might be a game, a 3-way game, so 1v1v1, so that will be on Sunday. Yeah, so apart from that though, what else have I done geek-wise? Played a bit of computer games, so I played a little bit of Fortnite this week, played twice with my cuz, played a little bit of that. But Fortnite's being really glitchy at the moment, so I'm not too happy with Fortnite right now. It's been super glitchy. Then I've played World of Warcraft. That's been going really good. I've now got my character up to level 30, so that's super cool. So I was well happy with that. Yeah, so that's going well. Just trying to think if there's anything else. No, I think... Oh! Almost forgot. So since I saw you last, I took a day off to go and see a buddy in the week, and I happened to go past a model shop, as you do, and there's been some new releases in Warhammer, all right, for Space Marines, hence why I thought we'd chat around Space Marines. And the new releases, I couldn't not get them. Yeah, I know, the first thing you're going to do, you're screaming out at me right now saying, Steve, you've got a pile of shame. Why the hell did you buy these models? Well, yes, I do have a pile of shame. Okay, I admit that. I'm the first person to admit I have a pile of shame. However, the Space Marines that I got, I didn't just buy willy-nilly. I bought because I currently use the models in my army at the moment, but Games Workshop, in all their wisdom, have decided to release a new model version. So they've just updated the model and changed them. Right. So I think I had a little whinge about it last week. Was that the squad of Marnius Calgar has gone from 3 models, which was in one box, down to 3, 4, 5 models minimum, probably 8 models in reality, and a minimum of 3 boxes. So it's a big change, especially in money wise. But I got these. So I got these guys, the Victrix Honor Guard. So you've got an ancient there, you've got a champion there, and you've got just a normal blade guard. But you can have them. Instead of the banner and the 2 swords, you can just have 3 lots of power weapons if you want. So you can make this squad of 3 or can make it a squad of 6. I'm probably going to go with a squad of 6 actually, so I need another box. Good old Games Workshop, eh? To get the best out your units, you need another lot. Then you've got the special character. So you've got this guy, so Cato Sicarius. He goes with the squad as well as almost like essentially the captain of the squad. And he's pretty cool. So he's another re-release of a model. He did have a model out. as well. So it was just very old, a fine cast one, I think it was. But he's really cool. And then you've got the big boy. You've got Marnius Calgar in a set of Terminator armor now. So he's in Terminator armor rather than the sort of power armor that he had before, the relic armor. He's now in this armor of Antilochus. And I don't know whether that's to do with like Tyranids or something. I'm not sure. But yeah, that's him. So they're the guys I've got. So let's put those to the side. And I was kindly given this guy. So I don't know if any of you play the computer game Space Marine 2, or Space Marine 1 even. But they're the lead character in that. Hey Elias, good to have you on the channel. How you doing? Good to have you back. Hello Adrian, how you doing? So in Space Marine, the video game, there is a character in there. He started as a sergeant, then was lieutenant, now captain, Captain Titus. And I've just been given this model. I've started painting him, but he's not finished yet. But this is the new Captain Titus model. So he's looking pretty pimp. So he's got a nice big cloak on, but I haven't done much to him yet. He's pretty basic at the moment. I need to finish him off. But that's him. I got him as well. So... But how are you guys in chat? I hope you're well, Elias, Adrian, and the others that are there. What have you done over the past week? What have you done geeky over the past week, guys? Drop it in the chat. Tell me. Let's have a quick chat about it. We can't forget, I mean, I talk about all my geeky conquests and what I've done. But what about you guys? What have you done geeky? Whilst I prepare my table... so in case you missed it, the 3 sections of our show today, general chat is going to be about the Space Marines of Warhammer 40,000. Then the muscle moment is going to be building bigger biceps, and the hobby horror moment is price hike point. So what's Adrian saying in chat? Adrian is saying Titus and his minion Lucis. Minion Lucis. I'm lost there, Adrian. You know the lore way better than I do, so then maybe I've missed something there. Minion Lucis. I don't know what that means, unfortunately. But today we're not painting Titus. We are continuing with our Sisters of Battle build. Oh, crikey. Let's grab the box whilst we're there. So we're continuing with this bad boy, which is the Triumph of St. Catherine. Look at that model for something to play with and put on your table. It's a hell of a piece with lots of intricate parts. So that is what we're doing there. Yeah, you're saying read it. I have read it and I don't get it. So you're going to have to explain it to me. Otherwise I won't get it. But we're continuing painting that. We did the base last week, so that is what our base looks like currently. I did attach some magnets to the bottom of this as well. Had to build up the magnets right in the centre. But I've attached some magnets, so that's not going to go anywhere once it's into my battle box. That'll be suitably nailed down. So what we could do this week is we could just sort of finish this off. There's a few little details to do. So the rose petals need adding. There's a couple of little metal bits that need adding, and then possibly some shading really, and that is about it. So we could crack on with that to begin with, and then we can bust out some of the models themselves. So we've got like St. Catherine still to do, and then we've got loads of the other saints that are sort of like this, and they're going to go all around the sarcophagus. Titus. Oh. Right, okay. Titus and his minion Lucis. Yeah, tight, loose. Oh. Adrian, you're a comic genius, sir. You're a comic genius. How's online? Hello, how are you? I hope you're good. Right, so let's change over camera and let's go to the drop down. Badoom! Here we are. Let's just, if I just move this way a bit and then do that. There we go. Okay, righty. So this is where we are. We need to add, see all these little bits, we need to add all these little petals. I reckon we should go for like, what do you reckon, like a bright pink petal or red? What do they do on the box actually? Let's see what they do on the box. Ah, red petals. Okay, red petals it is. So we've got two types of red. We've got a dark red and a sort of more brighter red. Corn red and Mephiston red. That is what we're going to be using today, peeps. In case you're following along. I hope you've got your clean water. And I hope you've got your wet palette ready. I've got mine ready. I'm mixing up my paints as we speak on my vibratey thing. Hal is saying, I'm fine. And you, my friend? I'm very well, thank you, Hal. Thank you for asking. So how's your guys' weeks been? How's it been so far this week for you? What have you done that's been geeky? Drop it in the chat. Let me know. Has anyone been to any, Comic-Con type events? Has anyone played any games? What is it that everyone has been doing this past week? Drop it in the chat. I want to know. So let's get a little bit of this bright red. Oh, I think my wet palette is too wet. Sometimes if you get your wet palette too wet, as soon as you put the paint onto it, it just literally splashes across the whole of the area. So you'll soon know if your wet palette's too wet. Just be careful. You don't want to do what I've just done, like a silly Billy. Righty. So on here we've got these tiny little petals to do, and we've got those little metal bars that run across the front. So let's get those done and out the way, and then we can think about some shade for the rest of it. But yeah, that's where we are. As I said, our general conversation is Space Marines in Warhammer 40,000. So absolutely everything and anything to do with Space Marine today. Let's chat about it. Elias is saying he is good. I'm glad you're all right and doing well. I hope your painting's doing well. The last couple of paintings I've seen from you, as in model painting, Elias, has been really good. Your quality's really improved, so well done. Hal is saying, I have, well, you know Inferno. So yes, I do know you have Inferno songs. Yes, so if you're on the Discord, Hal has been dropping in his songs for his board game that he's creating called Inferno. So he's been doing his musical DJ. Adrian is saying, got it together past Sunday and Tuesday. Oh, nice. Got what together? Hang about. Have I missed something? Got it together past Sunday and Tuesday. As in, you got yourself together? I will assume that is what you mean, Adrian. You got yourself together over the past couple of weeks. Or Sundays and Tuesdays, so I'm glad that you are doing better too, sir. So as you can see here, these are really small details on here. And they're not particularly easy to paint. So I've got a super fine brush here. This is just the Army Hobby Painter super detail brush. It's a dead tiny little, what's it called? Bristle. So it's really good for doing little bits like this. The only drama is that you can't really paint a huge amount, so you can't paint large areas with it because you can literally get hardly any what's it called, paint on the end of these little tiny brushes, and then you have to move on to something else. So if you are thinking of getting paintbrushes, these little paintbrushes are good, but just be aware that they're not the be-all and end-all, and actually you don't need a tiny brush for the majority of things. You can quite easily get away with, a brush of fairly decent size. It's all about the tip of the brush and how the brush formulates at the end. So generally speaking, the cheaper brushes tend to, they don't tend to hold a nice point, and that's what you're looking for. A nice point. If you don't get a nice point, that's it, you're buggered. So that is what you need, guys, if you're looking for a good brush. All about the point. So that is what you should look for. Especially when you're cleaning your brushes as well and trying to reshape them so that they look nice. And they obviously paint nicely. it's the tip. Eli's saying building Saturnine box set. Oh, nice. There's some really cool Terminators in that, 30k Terminators. So there's obviously, for those that don't know, actually, I say obviously, for those that don't know, there's Warhammer 30k and Warhammer 40k. They're both the same. They have the same factions like Space Marines, etc. But one is set before the other one in terms of chronological order. So there's just a different lore. The rules are slightly different as well. So the game doesn't play the same. Still the same kind of principles, but doesn't play identically. So just in case you are wondering what that is. But it's a very good game. And it's full of Space Marines, as usual. So with our general conversation being about Space Marines today, I thought I'll open it up and start us off with the fact that in the Warhammer world, Space Marines are the poster boys. And what I mean by that is they are Games Workshop's chosen representatives, really, for the board game. So even those that don't really know of Warhammer, they will probably have still seen Space Marines somewhere, somehow. Or if they've walked past a Games Workshop, they'll see the big blue robot thing, you know, or big blue guy in armour stood as a poster in the window of the shop. And they probably would recognise that. They are the symbol, really, of Games Workshop. And rightly so in most respects, because and the reason why is they outsell everything. People might not like that Space Marines are, you know, the poster boys and they're the chosen ones when it comes to lots of models, but they sell more. I can't remember what edition it was. I think it might have been 9th edition, so the edition before now. That's just edition, by the way, it's just a rules change. And there was one box set of Space Marines that outsold the entirety of, was it Age of Sigmar or Warhammer Fantasy? One of the two. One box set. Now that's nuts, right? And that is why the Space Marines are the poster child of Warhammer 40,000, or Warhammer in general, actually. So they're always on stuff. They're always there. How is saying, oh, how funny, I have played Space Marine in the game. I didn't win. Oh, mate, it's a tough game. I did play it once on the stream, actually. It is pretty hard. Well, depending on what setting you've got it on. But it's really good. So I played the original Space Marine game. Ironically, I actually played that game when I was in Afghanistan. And I know you're probably thinking, how the hell did you play Space Marine on a PlayStation in Afghanistan? Well, they have things called welfare tents in the middle of the desert, believe it or not. And in the welfare tent, when I came back to camp, that they had a PlayStation there, and with the PlayStation they had a Space Marine disc. So I played the game in Afghanistan. That's where I first played it, and then I played it when I got home because I bought it because I liked it that much. Bloody good game. What's Adrian saying? Mental health. Ah, okay, got you. Okay, makes sense. Well, I'm hoping, Adrian, that you're doing okay, mate. Life can be tough and not particularly very nice a lot of the time. You know, and we talk about mental health and things like that on the show quite regularly because I think it's important. And important not to shy away from it. And, you know, there are days where you are not going to feel your best, and there are days where, you know, things aren't going to go well for you. And that is just a reality. And we should be prepared for that as best we can, but we can't always be prepared for everything. But as long as you understand that these things will come and they will go. So I think something really nice to liken it to is the sun, right? Now, the sun is always shining 24/7 every single day of the week, right? It never stops. Even if the earth rotates and you can't see the sun, it's still shining. even if clouds come over and obscure your view, the sun is still shining. So it is always there, and that's a little bit how we've got to sort of treat life, is to remember that things will get better, and that, you know, essentially the sun will be back, as in the good times, or whatever you want to relate that to. So try your bestest not to get yourself down when times are hard. However, when they are, turn to friends, you know, turn to places like this channel, and just hang out with people, or even yourself, and do things that make you happy. That is, if I could give you any advice, that is what I would say would be the best thing to do. Adrian saying, donating to the Poppy Fund, Remembrance Sunday and Armistice Day. Ah, okay, yeah. Sorry, mate. Yeah, so I did a Remembrance Parade on Sunday. So that was nice. I'd obviously observed my minute's silence on Tuesday. But I did a parade locally. That was quite nice. Got to put my berry on and pretend I'm still in the army. Well, not pretend I'm still in the army, should I say, but pretend I'm, you know, remember my days in the army. So yeah, that was quite nice. But that's a very tough time for a lot of people as well, because it brings back memories, right? So even when I was sort of sat there talking to the old boys of the regimental association that I do the parade with, you know, it's quite stirring listening to stories and things like that of people. Elias, Saturnin Iron Warriors or Salamanders? Oh, good question, Adrian, and very Space Marine related, so brownie points to you for asking Elias that. Yeah, I think I'd go with Salamanders, to be fair. I like them as an army as a whole. I think they're pretty cool. I like their compassion, because Space Marines don't often have that, right? They don't care about anybody. They just care about fulfilling the wishes of the God Emperor. That's all they care about. Elias said, "Oh, he's going for a bit of both. Nice." So yeah, that's quite a good idea and a way to do it, because it just means that you get to not tire out on one army. Because sometimes if you can't, I do the same when I'm painting Ultramarines. I'll switch over to my Sisters of Battle or vice versa, just so I get a bit of difference to paint. Because otherwise it can be a little bit tough on the old painting eyes sometimes. So that is a good bit thing to do. What are we also saying? I can't see what we're saying here. How? I'm talking about the war game. Yes, you're talking about the computer game. Yeah, I played the computer game. It's very cool. It is a very good game. I like it very much. Yes, good laugh. Elias is saying, I'm pretty good at Space Marine 2. Oh, okay. Do you know what I haven't done is played the online. Space Marine 2 online is meant to be insanely good. I should probably look at that sometime. But it is meant to be really good. So if anyone's played Space Marine 2 online, drop it in the comments. Tell me what it's like. Is it worth playing? That's what I want to know. Drop it in the comments. Tell me if it's worth playing. If it's worth it, just drop in the comments play. Or if not, then you can just write rubbish. So play or rubbish. Drop it in the comments if you think Space Marine 2 is worth playing as a video game. On the online mode, that is, sorry. I should clarify. The online mode. What else are you saying? I loved playing Fire Warrior on PS2. Ooh, Fire Warrior. I don't think I played that. Was it a good one, Adrian? You have to let me know about that, because I don't think I've seen it. I might recognise it if I saw it. The problem with Warhammer games of old is they were really shit shoddy, like really shoddy. They were so hit and miss. And I think Adrian had a test to this going back to the like PlayStation 1 days, PlayStation 2 days. You know, Warhammer games on there were real hit and miss. I had Shadow of the Horned Rat on the PS1. Oh my lord, that was shockingly bad. And pretty difficult actually, to be honest. But it wasn't a very good game. Right, I think I've got all of the red roses. What are you saying here? And we get what I call ring books. Oh, so you're getting the new books? What, as in you're making the book itself? How? Oh, you played the miniature game, right? Okay, gotcha, gotcha. Play now, play now. Oh, mate, if I could, the problem is I can't play and stream at the same time from here because my computer's over there, like 10 foot away, and I'd have to set all the camera up and go and play and set it up over there, but I don't have all that set up and ready to rock. So I can't just switch over and go and play over there, unfortunately. Otherwise, I'd be right up for it. But maybe next time what I could do is I could play... Oh, I'm just looking for a mod. There it is. What I could do next time is I could just play Space Marine 2 instead of painting one session. I don't know if that's interesting to you guys. I did do it once before, and people seem to like it, so I could always do that again. If you're down for it and that's what you want. If you guys want it, I'll do it. Yeah, so if you want me to go and play Space Marine 2 next time or something on stream, so we'll do it on the show, just let me know and we can go and do that. Yeah, so we talked about a minute ago about sort of why Space Marines are the dominant force, and I mentioned about, well, it's purely down to sales, really. I mean, they were one of the first concepts made for the game, as in one of the first factions, but people just love them. People absolutely love the Space Marines. I don't know whether it's just how they look or the lore behind them, but people really get Space Marines and can get behind them. And ultimately, Games Workshop is a profit-making company, so they're going to want to make as much of that as they can. And given the fact that Space Marines outsells everything, then, you know, that's what they're going to do. I don't think Space Marine 2, though, is their most successful Warhammer franchise computer game yet. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if it does get that way, but I think Total War is the most successful computer game. But they might, Space Marine 2 might get there as a game, because it's still bringing people in, and that's what's quite cool about it. It's bringing people to the fold. But I'm just painting some petal leaves that are in this dish that this saint's carrying. Oh, she's got some in her hands as well, where she's throwing them. Just thought I'd paint them whilst we're here. Seeing as we're here, slap a load of red on. Yeah, so they're just super popular and they do well. So they're going to get the attention that they rightly deserve. So in Space Marines, then, it's, as I said, it's a faction. So these are super enhanced super soldiers that have, you know, like 2 hearts, extra lung, and all this sort of business, and they can survive extreme temperatures, and they have these cool exoskeleton type suits that they wear that protect them from harm and make them absolutely awesome. So it gives them extra strength beyond their natural strength as it is, and these suits make them even more powerful. They can endure more than a human. They are bigger than a human, so they're pretty massive. They're, I'd say, probably about a third bigger in size. than a human, a regular human. I mean, even if we looked here at, you know, a sister of battle, and these are meant to be pretty big chicks, versus a space marine, you know, so you can see the size kind of difference. That's the sort of difference you got. So there you go. That's the size difference. What are we saying in chat? Oh, love me. Hello, pal. How you doing? That could be funnalised as saying if I did a stream of Space Marine 2 live. Yeah, I think I'll do that then. I'm always sort of contemplate about what content to write. So if you guys ever think of things that you think would be good, always drop it in the chat, or you can send me a message on Discord or whatnot. I'm happy to experiment with things like, you know, running a game of Space Marine 2. Absolutely happy to do so. That'd be pretty cool. So next stream I will look to do that. We can just do a live stream session of that. That'd be good fun. You can see me and my terrible computer skills, and I can get my ass kicked for the fun of it. Yeah, because I like computer games, but I'm not like mega at them. I just enjoy them because they're fun, and mostly actually because I like playing with other people, really, as long as they're not dickheads. I just like playing games with others. That's, you know, fun because you get to chat to people and have a laugh. That's why I really like playing. So I've got these little tiny little metal bars now to paint along the side, and these are just, they're not friendly to paint at all. They've all got these tiny little raised edges, so you've got to be ever so careful. But if you don't paint those little edges, it just looks silly. So you have to give it a bash. Otherwise it all goes wrong. It looks a bit stupid. There we go. What else are you saying? Let me give you a good game, Tabs. Yeah, sure thing. Adrian's saying they are bigger and they wear power armour that they interface seamlessly because of the black carapace implant. Yes. So, well, Sister Battle have power armour as well, but it's a different type. And they're just much larger. Space Marines are much larger. And underneath, as Adrian mentioned, underneath that power armour, they have the black carapace. It's like a, if you think of like a, you know, like chicks' gym leggings that are super tight. Think of that, but like an armoured version. That's what they wear underneath. It's like a skin, a second skin almost. And they wear that, and that sort of hooks up then and connects to the suit itself. And allows the body and the muscles to interact with the power armour suit. So yeah, it's super cool. They're very, very tough and durable. You know, the fact that they've got extra hearts and extra organs so that they have redundancy if they get shot, for example, you know, their bodies can take it and, you know, still keep running, which is pretty cool. Yeah, just think superhuman warriors. That is your Space Marines. They're super cool. And they come in what we call different chapters. So Space Marines aren't just the blue boys that you see on the posters. Space Marines have loads of different chapters, and I'm sure you guys and girls that are watching know the chapters, and I'm sure you've got your own favourites. So if you do, drop into the chat now your favourite chapters of Space Marines and why. What's your favourite chapter of Space Marine and why? So for those that aren't as educated into that world, the Space Marines are split into different chapters, which is like different groups basically, and they all have their own different names and their own different purpose, right? So you have the blue boys that you might see on the posters. They're Ultramarines. You get the Iron Fist, which are yellow. You get Blood Angels, which are red. Dark Angels, which are sort of a greeny colour. Raven Guard, which are black. Iron Hands, black and silver and black. Grey Knights. You get loads of different types of Space Marines because they all have a different role to play in this fictitious world. So where in this world and universe that they interact with, they all have a different role to play. So your Raven Guard, for example, are your sort of sneaky beaky type Space Marines. You've got your Ultramarines, which is just sort of your standard infantry. You've got your Salamanders, which are all about fire, and all they do is like to use fire weapons. So each one's got their own skill, and their own sort of they're known for their own type of expertise, and those expertise then might encourage you to choose, if you go to play the game, that is, to choose to use their army. So if you like sneaking about the battlefield, for example, you might use Raven Guard because you might like the fact that they can hide and things like this on the battlefield easier than others. Or if you like setting things on fire, you might like to be a Salamander. Or if you just like to get up and close and dirty in combat, you might then want to choose Blood Angels. And there are loads. I can't remember how many chapters there are. Adrian will probably be able to tell me. But the sort of founding chapters, so to speak, so those chapters that are the originals, I think there might be about 15, roughly. And then from that, there are loads of sub-chapters. And there's loads and loads and loads of those. And not even the sort of lore of Warhammer says how many. They sort of say, they don't even know how many sort of sub-chapters of Space Marines there are. Yes, because the war has been ravaged across the galaxy for so many years, they've just lost count of how many people they have, which is nuts. But that's how it is in the world of Warhammer. So what we're saying in chat, Sisters of Battle wear power armor, but it is just heavier armor. Yeah, so Space Marines armor is bigger and heavier. And then you've got different types of Space Marines within that have even heavier armor than that. So you've got different types of armor that go on the Space Marine. Whereas Sisters of Battle, they get one power armor and that's it. They don't get lots of different variants. Whereas the Space Marines, because they're sort of, if you think of the modern day infantry, they are, you know, the different infantry units that are out there. So, you know, from your Coldstream Guards to your Parachute Regiment to your Ranger Regiment or whoever, that is what your Space Marines are. And because they all have different jobs and different roles, they have, you know, different capabilities and different kit, which makes them interesting to see, especially on the battlefield. Not just in a playing mode. They're cool to see on a playing mode because they all have different rules, right? But they're really cool to see just to see like armies painted and actually on the field itself. It's just awesome to see. I love just looking at people's models and seeing what, you know, how they've painted something or what it looks like. So I do love that about the Warhammer side. We've got here Adrian saying Death Guard, the first founding legions. Yeah. And out of those first founding legions, you have some very bad legions as well, which then turned against the God Emperor. So the Space Marines all effectively work for the God Emperor. And they all follow him, worship him, and abide by his rules. And then there was a big battle and a falling out between the Space Marines, and you then had traitor chapters that sort of branched off and fought the Space Marines. Excuse me. And the old Death Guard are one of those naughty traitor chapters. Dirty, dirty Death Guard. Isn't it? Who is it that collects Death Guard in there? Because I think they put some pictures of Death Guard up previously. So there is someone that likes Death Guard. I think it might be. I think it might be Hal. He might like Death Guard. Yeah, but that's kind of what the sort of basics of Space Marines. You know, you've got your loyalist chapters, which is your Ultramarines, your Blood Angels, Dark Angels, Salamanders, Iron Hands, Space Wolves, Imperial Fist, and then crikey, mine's gone blank on the other chapters. But anyway, you get my drift. You've got those guys, and then you've got your bad Space Marines on the other side. So your Death Guard, you've got your Chaos Space Marines, you've got Emperor's Children, and they're actually releasing more as well. So they're actually starting to expand all of the chapters, not just for the bad guys, but for the good guys as well. And I think that is why they have recently just made a detachment specifically for Ultramarines that got released the other day, along with the models that I just showed you earlier. So they've just done those, and I think that's because they're going to separate. They're going to separate out the Ultramarines from the Codex itself, and they'll end up having a Codex for every single Space Marine army. So you won't end up buying one Codex, which you currently can do, and run lots of different Space Marine armies from it. You're going to need your own Space Marine Codex for that Space Marine chapter that you want to play, which I think it's a bit of a shame, but it also gives opportunity for new cool rules, for something interesting for your army that's going to really make them different to the rest, because some of the chapters don't really have anything specific for them. It also gives the opportunity for Games Workshop, and I hope they do this, is to make chapter specific units. So units that can only work in certain chapters. You know, you do have currently things like the Dark Angels Deathwing Knights, for example. They're only for Dark Angels, and Blood Angels have the Death Watch, and you know there are a couple, but I'm hoping they're going to do more, is what I'm saying. But that is if they do truly separate all of the chapters out, and they might do, they might not, but they might do. That's my thinking anyway, what they'll do. Whether or not that will come to fruition is another thing, but we'll see. That's my expectations, because it's another money spinner, isn't it? Making everyone buy a book. So instead of having one book, you now have to have two or something, you know, just to play. It makes logical Games Workshop money grabbing sense. Doesn't make any sense for us as players, buyers, fans, etc. Anyway. So until recently, actually, it was a couple of years ago, there was sort of only one type of Space Marine, and they were called Firstborn. So the Firstborn Space Marines were a certain size, a certain sort of armour suit that they would wear. And then a couple of years back, in the lore for the Space Marines, they wrote into the lore that oh crikey, what's his name? Belisarius Cawl from the Adeptus Mechanicus actually created a way to be able to enhance Space Marines even more and make them bigger and stronger than what they were before. And that's called the Primaris Marines. So you've got Firstborn Marines and you've got Primaris Marines. So there's two types of Marines there that you've got to sort of then start to be aware of. And basically one is just the older model that looks a bit more squat. They look a little bit more sort of shorter and squatter. They're not quite as nice in terms of the sculpt. So the sculpting's come on leaps and bounds over the past few years. And I have to admit, the new models do look really good, like really, really good. Even when I was looking at the new Manius Calgar versus the old one, and the old one's not that old, but the new one is a very cool model. So although I'm frustrated that they, are making me buy more models, I also do like the model. So it's like, oh, it's, a tough position to be in, I guess. You're liking the model, but you don't want to pay the price. But, is what it is. Can't escape it. But yeah, so you've got your two types of Marines, your Firstborn and your Primaris. I don't have any to show, actually. Otherwise, I'd show you guys. I have Primaris Marines, but I don't have any Firstborn knocking about, I don't think. Oh, I do. But they're in a box over there, and they're right underneath the pile, so we won't go into that. So what we're saying... How's saying, yeah, I'm working on Death Guard cosplay. Whoop, whoop. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing the final results of that, dude. Once it's all painted up, it's going to look mega. Some of the Loyalist chapters have scary names, but they're on the Imperium side. That's very true. So, a sub-chapter of the Blood Angels is called the... Oh, crikey, it's just Flesh Tearers. So the Flesh Tearers, and that sounds pretty mean, doesn't it, and bad, but they're actually a good in inverted commas type of Space Marine. But yeah, they do have some quite bad sounding names. What we're saying in chat: do any of the Primaris models wear the Aquila on the armor? Yeah. So even this guy, excuse me. Oh no, he's not actually. He's not got the original Aquila. No, I don't know actually. That's a great question, Adrian. That's a great question. I'm not sure they do. Now you're saying that, I'm not sure they do wear the Aquila. So you've got this. I've forgotten what the bloody hell this one's called, but it's the wings and the skull in the middle, right? Which is kind of now the adopted version on these new Primaris Marines. Yeah, that's a great point. Well spotted. Yeah, so So there's loads of different types of armour as well. We've spoken about the Firstborn and the Primaris, which have distinct armour between them, one being bigger than the other. Well, actually, there's loads of different types of armour as a whole. So there's all the way from, Mark 3. Well, there is Mark 1, but I've never seen Mark 1, but I would imagine there's Mark 1. But the ones I know of is Mark 3 all the way up to now, which is Mark 10. And there's lots of different variations, so you'll have slight subtleties in the armour themselves. So, for example, if you go back to the days of Mark III, which is the Firstborn style, a lot of the helmets were actually pointed. So they had like points, almost like a cone on the front of their face. Like, they looked quite comical. If you go back now and if you search for Mark III Space Marine, it does look quite comical. So it does look quite funny with these sort of points on the front of their helmets. They have re-released them into Primaris, these old school helmets, so that you can have your new Space Marines look like they've been around for hundreds of years, which theoretically Space Marines can do. And so they've re-released the pointy helmets, but they don't quite look as crap. They look a bit better, whereas before they looked pretty pump, if I'm honest. They looked pretty crap. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't a massive fan of the old school ones. Just got to fill this little area in here, just because I noticed that we didn't, or I didn't, paint it. So silly me. So there we go, just fill that in. I reckon we might be able to get away with just washing these steps now. Although, to be fair, just noticed these white are just down the edge of the white actually. We need to redo that because that's looking really crap. So I have to get this really gloopy. Look at the state of this white paint. Why does it go like this? There you go, there's a question. Why does white paint go so stodgy and gross? As soon as you mix it up with a bit of water, it's fine, but in the pot, it just goes crap. It really does. Anyone know why? All white paints do it. And I don't know why. But they all do it. So if anyone has some answers, why do white paints go all gunky like that? Drop it in the chat and let me know. So, what is your favourite chapter? What would you take if you were going to have your own Space Marine army and money was no option? You could just, you know, buy whatever you wanted. What chapter of Space Marines would you buy and why? Drop it in the chat, please. Let me know. I want to know what it is. Some of the Lawyers chapters are scary names. Yeah. Blood Drinkers, Flesh Tearers. Yeah. Any of the Promise models? We've had that one. I have my own Space Marine chapters. Ooh. God, excuse me. I'm well tired today. So Howell's saying that he's made his own Space Marine chapter up. That's pretty cool. What's your chapter called, Hal? I want to know what's your chapter called. So whilst I correct these little pesky white things, making sure I've got all the bits that I need doing on them. Sometimes they're quite hard to see when you're sort of staring into these multiple little white edges bits. A bit of a pain to look at. Makes your old eyes go a bit squint. That's that one. Get over this side. What we got on this side? There's quite a few I missed actually, surprisingly. But then again, sometimes when you're sort of concentrating on something for so long, you end up missing a bit. So it's not a problem to go back and just edit correct. Go. Alrighty, okay, that's that bit done. Good. There's a couple of other little blocks of this sort of yellowy stone as well that I haven't done. So there's that to do, and then I think we're good to then stick a wash over it and be done with the base. Unless you guys have seen anything and you think, oh yeah, try that. The Imperial Eyes. Oh, I like that name. That's quite a cool name, Hal. That's pretty cool. I like it. The Imperial Eyes. Like it. What's their colours? What's their chapter colours? Is there anything specific about your chapter? And, you know, is there something that you've sort of written as to why they do what they do? Oh, that's a great question, Adrian. Adrian's asking you how. Are they followers of the Codex Astartes? So it's a sort of expansion on the question I asked. Are they followers of the Codex Astartes, or are they naughty traitors? Or are they, you know, imperialists still, but they're just rule breakers and they don't listen to the Codex? You know, it's a bit like Black Templars, for example. They don't quite follow the Codex. Ultramarines follow the Codex like it's the actual law. They follow it to a T, whereas other units don't. I think Blood Angels are similar as well. I don't think they follow it completely either. I don't know much about Blood Angel lore, but I don't think they follow it particularly well. But generally speaking, they all love the God Emperor and they serve him to do his bidding, and that is their task. Get these little bits done down here. So it's quite, so far, although this is really detailed, it's quite an easy model to paint. There's no real, I wouldn't say really hard bits or really difficult parts to this model so far. I mean, some bits are a bit small, so you might want to just take care if you're getting your own Triumph of St. Catherine to paint. It's not a difficult model, as I said. There's just lots of little pieces of detail, and that I'd say is probably the theme across Sisters of Battle as a whole. They're really detailed to paint, so you know they're not massively difficult, but there's always so many little details that you can fill in. It can take you forever. Again, it comes back to this sort of thing of, are you going for the Golden Demon Award and trying to impress the masses, or do you just want something good enough that looks great but you haven't spent a million hours on, that can get on the battlefield and you can play with? If it's the latter, then you know, don't panic too much and get too trapped by all the detail. I mean, I'm a fine one to talk because I sit there and go, oh, I've just missed that bit, or oh, I could have done that bit there. But, you know, it's all right. Right, bump, 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 bump. I think we're good. All right, okay. So we can get some wash on this bad boy. See what it looks like. There you go. See all the sort of detail that we've got on it so far. I don't think we need to put anything else on. There we go. Get a slightly bigger paintbrush though, because otherwise it's going to take forever to do the wash. What we're saying in chat, kind of. How is saying? Oh, this is in response to Adrian's question around, do they follow the Codex? How is saying kind of. They don't want to. They don't want to, but they do something. Some things of it. Okay, so they do follow it because they know they have to, but they don't like doing it perhaps, and sometimes they might break a few rules. That's what I'm getting from that. How so? He's going to stick it in the Discord. Yes, please, sir. Stick it in the Discord. Educate us all. And you've got the lore as well. They love that. They love the Emperor. They love him. They kill anyone in his name. Ah, okay. So they're devout for the Emperor, but they don't like his rules. That's very sort of Black Templar, to be fair. They're very similar to that. You know, absolutely love the Emperor, but they don't quite like his book. That's kind of the way that one goes. Right, the question is, do we go across the entirety of this like that? I think we're going to. Just add a little bit of extra into the crevices. Like that, on the raised bits. So with this sort of shade paint, it's cool to go over the areas as a whole. That's absolutely fine. But then you'll want to focus the actual liquid into the cracked areas, because that's where you're going to get the most response from this sort of shade. So as you can see here, I'm filling in the gaps here. I will paint across it as well, like this, look. But you've got to focus on those recesses. All about the recess. That's what we want. All about the recess. Because that gives us a cool little shadow. Oh, I've got water on my model. Must have got a bit of my herbal tea onto my model. There we go. And also with your shade, be very careful. What you don't want to do is paint an area and leave a little bit and then go back. So if I had this section here, I don't want to paint around here and then go back to this bit, because by going back, once it's dry, it looks terrible. It looks really bad if you go back once it's dried. So once it's done, it's done. And if you try and paint over it with more shade, it just ends up looking worse. So try and get the section you're doing done before it all dries out. Because if you don't, it'll look rubbish and you'll be cross with yourself. So you want to try and get that section done that you're trying to do. Like, so for this bit here, we're going to paint the entire thing in like a couple of strokes like that, and then that's it done. You don't want to go back to it. I'm going to get it done, get off it. Because once it dries, that's it. You're kind of set then. So I've always found when you go back over, or if you try to go back over, say you miss a bit, say we left that bit there, right, that little triangular bit, and we tried to go back over that afterwards, it never matches. The colour never matches. It looks terrible. So always try to get it done first time, the area you're doing. So if you know you've got to, for example, stop because you've got, I don't know, friends coming over or whatever, get it that section painted, that little corner, and then move on to the next bit afterwards, after you've seen your friends. Also make sure you get the shade into those crevices, like these little cracks down the actual join between where the colours are as well. Because if you've had any run over of this tan colour into the crack, just drop a load of shade in there and it actually covers the mistake. So just drop your shade in onto that area and it normally covers it, so you will be okay. What else is saying in chat anyway? Says, anyone want any lore? Look in the Discord, says How. Okay, we will look into. Obviously, I can't look in the Discord right now, bro. But I will look in the Discord later, as I always do. There we go. Sweet. Level by level, we're getting it done. It's quite nice just to paint with shade sometimes. It's so easy. It makes a model look really good. If you've missed out some details, it does make a model look very, very good. So it can repair and hide a lot of things. It can look decent as long as you don't go over the top. You don't need to shade the entire model either. I mean, I used to do it. You can do. I used to. But I've since found, you know, with the sort of rule of less is more, don't worry about shading the entire model, because the entire model won't need it. There'll be areas that you'll want to look, you know, cool. For example, in the centre, I'm not going to put some shade over the centre because I want it to sort of the colours to look a little bit more brighter to stand out. Whereas the steps, I feel that the steps look good or will look better with a bit of shadow and dirt on them, right? But yeah, you don't have to do the whole model. Some people do still. And I've still got old models that I painted that have got, you know, the entire model, once it's painted, the entire model's been covered in this. But I'm not sure if that's the right way to go now. I think if you're just starting out in your painting adventure, it's certainly a quick way to get definition in areas on your model, but it's not the ultimate way to go. It does detract from certain aspects, so try to avoid where you can. Alrighty, so there we go. That is the base. Oh, there's some rocks there in the middle I didn't do. Darn it. Right, we're going to have to do them, aren't we? Just got to be very careful now not to go over onto the white. There we go. Oh, this one's going to be hard. There's one right in the centre here that's sort of... It's on the sort of creamy colour right in the middle. Hopefully that looks okay. Right, okay. I think that's good. Base done. Nice. So we now know, although there might not be every single, when the models go on, you won't be able to see every single little bit, but, you know, I think that looks pretty sweet. That's a great place to go to this one. And move across to here, let's catch up with the chat. So how I was saying, they have 2 chapters in one. Oh, okay, so I will check out the Discord later. Adrian saying, I have my own chapter. They are an Iron Hand successor chapter called the Scions of Ferris. Oh, they don't follow the codex. Yeah, that sounds about right for you, Adrian, you madman. Not following the codex. Ah. Right, let's move that base out of the way. Let's just move it over there. Alrighty, so I'm going to put a quick poll up. And we're going to do what's next? Question mark. We're going to have sarcophagus. I think that's spelt right. Or saint. Doop. There you go. There's a poll. So I want to know what's next to paint. Are we going to do the sarcophagus, or are we going to do a saint, one of the battle sisters that stood around the sarcophagus? So drop it in the chat, let me know. What's happening here? So, my lord, is there a successor chapter from the lost second chapter? Oh, okay. They kill for the emperor, but some of they try to find things about the second chapter. They are known for killing humans. They're known for kill human that is with the emperor. Ooh. You mean they kill humans that are not aligned with the emperor? Or are they just known for killing any humans? They're not like with anyone. Oh, okay. Sounds interesting, dude. Sounds interesting. Oh, have we got a split on the poll, have we? Yeah, we've got a split on the poll. Oh, dang it. Oh, no. So we've got the sarcophagus and the sisters. Right, okay, I might have to put a deciding vote in by the time we do the end of the muscle moment. So, we wouldn't be Minis and Muscles if we didn't do the muscle moment, because we are the place where the brawn meets the brush. And this week's muscle moment, I wanted to talk about bigger biceps, building a fuller arm. Yeah. So, like, there's two things I think that when people are trying to build a bigger arm, that I think the key principle people think is when I'm building biceps, I need to do biceps. But actually, to get like a thicker arm feel or look, and that's not me tensing, that's just as it is, to get that thicker part of your arm, it's not just a bicep motion that you need a tricep as well. So to get bigger looking arms, you need work bicep and tricep. Okay, so do not forget that. However, for bigger biceps, 5 key exercises, and I wrote them down over here. The first exercise is obvious, bicep curls. All right, so keeping the elbows pinned in towards the side of the body, and bringing the weight from all the way down so your arm is fully extended, and then bringing it all the way up till it's curled at the top. You've got incline dumbbell curls. So that is just on a bench itself. I forgot the bloody word of the thing there. You've got hammer curls. So this is, instead of having your hands this way round, you just turn your hands inwards. And it's just like a bicep curl, but you're doing that as if you're whacking a hammer down on the floor. You've got preacher curl. So this, instead of doing individual weights here, you're using both your biceps at the same time, and you're supported, so you get your back of your arm supported onto the bench, and you've got an EZ bar, and you've loaded the EZ bar up, and you're doing bicep curls all the way up, but with an EZ bar with the back of your arm supported. And then lastly, cable curls. So that is on, generally speaking, you find the cable curls is on a multi exercise machine. The ones where you can go all the way around and they've got lots of bits. Stick the cable right onto the bottom, and just double bicep curl double arm, both arms at the same time, bringing them all the way up. So it is the same as the bicep curl we did earlier. However, the bicep curl we did earlier is independently with a single dumbbell in each hand. This is now codependent on each other, and you're doing it together all as one. All right. So you've got 3 exercises there that are individual biceps moving it at once, and you've got 2 exercises that are both biceps operating at the same time. My advice would be to split it so that you're doing single biceps followed by joint biceps followed by single biceps, joint biceps. So split it up that way. I find that's a little bit easier. How is saying in the chat, and they have Space Marines, that is not good, that got to be chaos, that want blood. The Blood Marine now, the Emperor, but it is not what they were. Oh, get the mop out like Anatoly. Yes, get the mop out by Anatoly. I've seen his videos, very, very good. So that is our muscle moment for the week. So remember, fitness is really good for the body, but also the mind. That's why we promote geek stuff and fitness on this channel. So make sure whatever you're doing, try to do some fitness in your life. If you need any tips or tricks, message me on the Discord. Happy to help you. Righty, okay. So we had the vote up between the sarcophagus, which is this lovely bit of kit here, with St. Catherine in it, to a battle sister but a saint. So there's 6 saints that, or is it 6? 1, 2, 3, yeah, it is 6. 6 saints that stand around the sarcophagus of St. Catherine. And we've got a split on the vote. So I'm going to end the poll there. And I'm going to make the last vote. And I'm going to say, let's go for the sarcophagus. All right. So sorry, whoever voted not to do the sarcophagus, but we're going to do the sarcophagus. Purely because I think once we get this in place, it'd be quite nice then just to put that onto the model, and then we can just sort of build it out from there. However, there's some things on the bottom here that we do want to paint. doesn't have to be any sort of fancy colours, so we're actually just going to do a lot of this in silver. So we can paint that pretty speedily. So we need some silver into our wet palette. Let's get some silver on the go. So back to our Space Marine conversation. So we spoke about loads of different stuff so far about what is a Space Marine, where they come from, their different chapters. Do they follow the Codex or not? We've spoken about good Space Marines and bad Space Marines, because you get two types. We spoke about Firstborn and Primaris. We've spoken about different types of armour that they have, and how sort of it's just subtle differences on each one. And actually, even in the new Primaris range of Space Marines, you've got quite a few different types of armour. You've got Phobos armour, which is like a lightweight sort of scout type armour. You've got your standard power armour, and then you've got heavy power armour as well. So which is called, oh gosh, it bloody escapes me now what the word is. Gravis. So you've got Gravis armour, which is like a next step up. And then lastly, the sort of piece de resistance is Terminator armour right at the top. So that's just sort of really heavy clad, big beefy Space Marines. So you've actually got quite a few different variants now of armour, whereas previously in the Firstborn you had Terminators and you had Space Marines, and I believe that was it. I don't think they had any other variants, but now they do, which is quite cool, because it gives your army a nice flavour actually, especially when you're looking for different types of units to fulfil different roles. Having the types of armour, or the different types of armour, generally suggests the type of role that unit does. So you've got the more sort of mobility type scouting units that are in that Phobos light armour, all the way through to your heavy hitters that are in Gravis or Terminator armour. So it's quite nice to get that clear separation. Actually, I quite like it. So what else are we going to talk about? So why Space Marines are sort of the gateway? I guess they are heavily promoted. They come in lots of different publications. So it doesn't matter what you do in the Warhammer 40,000 world, you will come across Space Marines. Be that the enemies of they'll be the enemy of the faction you've chose, or you'll just hit so hard with all the lore and everything from Space Marines and all the posters, you're just going to choose them as your army. They're pretty simple to use, but what I really like about Space Marines as a first army to take is that they're easily accessible. You can find loads of pre-painted Space Marines. So if you're not the sort of person that likes to paint Warhammer models, go with Space Marines, man, because there's so many of them out there. You will find someone that is selling either a fully painted Space Marine army, or you will be able to find lots of different units to buy off different people that are already painted, where that person's used the unit, they don't now like it, so they're just getting rid of it. So, you know, I think they're really good for beginners to get into. There's loads of stuff about them as well. So you can find out from the lore of them from lots of different books. They're involved in loads of different merchandise. So if you're a sort of merch kind of guy or girl, you can really get behind them and follow them, because that's heavily supported in the merchandise. There's even, like we said earlier, the video game. Crikey. You can start to live out your Space Marine world in its semi-reality by jumping on your PlayStation or your PC or whatever console you got and playing Space Marine 2. So they're just a cool army to get into. And lastly, the other reason why I think they're a great army for beginners is they've got loads of options. Space Marines are probably, I'd say, they probably have the most amount of detachments available, which is the tactics that you can use in game, and models available. So the choice of models is really vast. If you go with something like Ultramarines as your chapter, just the characters section alone on the Ultramarines is huge. There's loads of characters. So there's nothing, and that's what's quite nice, because you can really tailor your army to what you want, rather than it being sort of box standard, you know, off the shelf, it's in the box type thing. There are loads of different options. Yes, that, you know, other people are going to have those options as well, but it does mean that the chances are, even if you're playing an Ultramarines army versus an Ultramarines army, they probably won't have the same setup as you, because there's such a vast array of different models. You'll probably have chosen something different to your buddy. So they're really, really good. They often come as well, another reason for beginners, they often come in a lot of the starter kits and box sets. So if, again, Games Workshop models aren't particularly cheap, so if you're looking to get into Games Workshop games, you're going to want to get the best value for money. And generally speaking, Space Marines come in those box sets. The value for money box sets, that is. So that is another good reason to get Space Marines over anything else. Hopefully that's been informative. Fingers crossed. What we're saying in chat, let's catch up with this. What is wrong with the Saint's hand? Looks like a mutation. Oh, it's flowers. She's throwing flowers across. She's throwing the petals across the floor. Is what she's doing. Yeah, it's not a mutation. She's not been hit by the spawn of chaos. Thank the Emperor. Otherwise, I'd be very upset by that. Can't have my girls being tainted by the spawn of chaos, can we? It's just not cricket. Just not Warhammer. Oh, the bottom of the sarcophagus looks like it has grav plates. Yes, it does. So it does float. Yeah. Correct, Adrian. Very correct. Good knowledge. Yeah, it's a lovely little floating sarcophagus. And loads of stuff now in Warhammer is like grav plated up, so it floats about the place. There we go. So all I'm doing on this is just whacking some silver on here. I'm not going crazy on these bits. Just painting the bits that I want. Being nice and quick about it. Not worrying too much. Not going too mad. Because this part isn't going to be seen, but there'll be elements that either you will know will be there. It's one of those bits of the model that you always sit there and think, oh, should I paint it? But if you don't, you know, sod's law is you'll get to putting the model together and then you'll be like, oh my god, I can see that bit I didn't paint and I can't get to it now. I'm so peed off I didn't paint that in the first place. So it's always worth sticking a little bit of paint, even if it's something real basic like just silver like I'm doing now. Quite cool actually if I had like a sort of little smoke coming out of these exhausts on the side here I'm painting. That would be pretty cool. Getting some silver on that. There's no worries there. Sometimes the old paintbrushes go over and you're not, when you're sort of rushing or trying to go quick, you don't quite realise that you've caught something or done something in a certain way. But again, never panic with painting. Even if you get a little bit wrong, just go back. There's no probs. Nice and simple. Little bit of silver. Well, what are we saying here in the chat? Chaos Marines have seen some of the Imperial's eyes. Oh, you cannot make them scared. You can not make them think to kill you. The Chaos Marines that are still alive if they're sacred for life. Ooh, sounds ominous, Hal. Sounds ominous. Terminator armor, Centurion warsuits. Oh yeah, I mentioned Terminator armor. Forgot about Centurion's warsuits, which is funny because I really like the Centurion warsuit models. I've got a couple, and I think they're bloody awesome. They look absolutely mega, but they're the beefier guys. But to be fair, Gravis armor's nothing to be sniffed at. That's not bad either. Anyway, that's all the armor types. What do we got here? So, video games you mentioned or kind of touched on briefly, but video games have kind of brought to life Space Marines as well, and you know, that's really helped. Not just the Space Marine 1 and 2 game, but actually Total War and all the other Warhammer titles that have included Space Marines in have helped promote them outside, and you're going to get the sort of next step, which is sort of the next step beyond video games, which is TV. You know, you've now got Henry Cavill, a massive name in the world of acting. So, you know, big celeb name now being part of the Warhammer TV show that Amazon are making. There's rumours, I think it was Brad Pitt that is rumoured to be on that as well. And I think today or recently there's been sort of a rumour that when Henry Cavill plays, or who the character Henry Cavill will play in the Warhammer TV show, is going to be none other than Captain Titus, which kind of makes sense. So the fact that they're, you know, going to show Captain Titus off even more beyond the video game makes sense, because he's a character that people can be aware of, that non-Warhammer players can relate to because they know of him from the computer game. So it makes sense to give Henry Cavill Captain Titus as a character to play, and to then start expanding the story, because then, you know, if the TV show is a big hit, you know, you're going to get more video games off the back of that. You know, you can expand the lore so that you can have more books and, again, more games and all the rest of it out the back of it. So I think that's a pretty, if that rumour does come to fruition, I think that's a pretty good rumour, to be fair, and a pretty good solid bet for Games Workshop to start, you know, adding more to the money-making efforts. So I think that's going to be a pretty good one if they do it. I'm looking forward to it as well. It'd be really cool to see. So I'm super excited to see the Warhammer TV show. I don't know if any of you have heard of it or at all, but it just looks very cool. Got some rocks right on the bottom here that need painting. So some of those rocks from the fallen architecture, they're down there too. I need to paint those up. Boop, boop. What we're saying in the chat? The Death in Life, and I have my own Chaos Marines chapter. Crikey, Hal, you have been a busy guy. You've done a lot of writing, but well done, sir. That's very, very cool indeed. Yeah, so the exposure Space Marines have had through all of the different literature and media means, etc. It's no wonder they are the ones that everybody knows of. So, you know, all of the exposure plus the sales figures, you know, that just secures them as Warhammer's #1 in terms of revenue making, money making, IP. So you can get why they get all the love. You can understand it. You might be very frustrated if you're a Tau player or a Eldari player or whatever it is you play as. You know, you can still understand though why they do sit on the top of the Christmas tree, so to speak. You know, if there's a Xenos kind of enemy type faction, I think it probably second runner up would probably be orcs, right? They'd probably be the next ones that most people would know or relate to or understand. Here we go. Alrighty, so that's the bottom, the underside done. So there's the exhaust pipes and those little bits on the bottom done. Probably won't even see them, but oh, it's just the sides actually I need to do. Damn it! Damn! That's right. It's a very quick job. Very easy to do. Fill that in. Should have really twigged about this, to be fair, earlier, but wasn't concentrating as much as I should be. Chatting away. It's the only thing when you chat away like a madman, you end up forgetting what you're doing sometimes. Or I do anyway. Because I'm slightly mad myself. Alright, that's that bit. Do we want those little bits there done? Yes, we do. We're going to paint those bronzy colour though. Whoa, almost lost the light. We want that one. So yep, with Space Marines, they do overshadow other factions without a shadow of a doubt. You know, they do get in the way, they steal the limelight, and they are the sole focus. But, you know, as I said, you can understand why when they make Games Workshop a lot of darn money. And I don't think that will ever change. Unless all of a sudden a faction, and it would have to be a new faction because all the old factions certainly aren't as popular. But a new faction came out and all of a sudden everyone shifted to it. That is the only way you will ever get the same love onto another faction, is if they outsell Space Marines. I just can't see it happening. And as a Space Marine player, you know, I'm not going to grumble. I'm not going to mind that they're the most, you know, used faction. Because it means that I get to, like I did at the weekend, buy some new models because they've just released some new models. And those models are super cool as well, so I'm well excited for that. Well, these are really pain in the bum because they've got these shields sort of in the way. So it's not quite as quick as what you might want. A little bit more pernickety. Oof. Right, okay, so there you go, there's the side. That looks quite good actually. I know it's a bit of a pain in the bum to do all that detail like that. I mean, you could just leave it, but then it just doesn't have the same effect when you look at it from the side. And yes, I know, you probably won't even see 99% of this when it's on the battlefield. I get it, but, you know, I just can't leave it, guys. I can't leave it. it's important to get all the right little bits painted. Otherwise, you know, what a waste of time. Yeah, how you can stick the lore in the Discord or whatever in the chat here. Don't mind either way, bro. Might be better for the Discord perhaps, because if you stick it in the chat, it'll only disappear and you won't get the chat back, if that makes sense. Because the chat only stays around whilst the live is being streamed. So as soon as the live stops, you lose the chat and all the rest of it. What else we got in here? What else am I going to talk about? Oh yeah. So Warhammer have a thing called the Black Library. The Black Library do loads of novels. I've got a load of Sisters of Battles novels, but there are, guess what? Loads and tons of Space Marine novels. So there's absolutely loads of literature available, and lore is really good. If you want to immerse yourself into a world, you know, what better way to do it than through reading some awesome books? And I've read a few of them, and they're bloody good, the books. They really are. There's a lot of regular authors that come back to write multiple books for GW, and they're freaking epic. If you're really deep into your lore and you love learning about lore, I would 100% suggest going over to my friend's channel. So Mira Manga, she does reviews, book reviews, and lore sort of interviews with the what are they called? The people that write the books, the authors. So she has a load of interviews with the authors, all about Warhammer. So she gets all the top guys. She interviews them all. So get over to her channel, have a little listen on some of those interviews, because they're very, very, very good and worthwhile. A little listen if you like the lore, that is, and you're into that. I'm just super slow at reading, so it would take me a bloody light year just to get through one book. Well, it does take me a light year to get through one book. So doing lore on here would take me forever. So apologies if that's what you came for. If you came for lore and stuff on Warhammer, then, you know, sorry. Pardon me. Right, that is done. I think we might just be finished on the bottom side of this sarcophagus, which is cool. I'm just tidying up a little bit where I've overshot with the metallic. So I'm just tidying it up a bit. Go. Not bad. Okie doke. Alright, so we've got the colour on the sides. It looks quite cool from the side. That is not just silver there, that is actually like a bronze colour, so it looks slightly different. I don't know if you can tell. There you go. You can see it in certain light. It actually looks silver though, doesn't it? We've got the silver bits done. You've got the little bits of bronze down the bottom now for the shields around the edge. Crikey. Let's see what we got here. Because I like referring to the sort of box art quite a lot, just to see what they've done or how they've done it. Because you can get a lot of ideas from it. You don't have to follow the box art, but it does give you some cool ideas. So we're going to do the shields next. The chapter of Death card. The chapter that was taken by Nurgle Marines. This is just sicking a Marine with no life. There is no one, so they fall to chaos. Is a sad story. So what effect in game does that collection of models do? Oh, it does loads. So that's why this model's really cool for a Sisters of Battle army. because it gives you loads of buffs. Not only does this model have, for those that play Warhammer will understand this, but it has I think it's 18 wounds or 16 wounds. It's really high on wounds. It's not super high on toughness. It's got great invulnerability save, so it takes a long while to kill, and it gives buffs, 3 buffs I think it is, every turn, and you get to choose what those buffs are. So some is like +2 to movement, gives your army the ability to shoot and advance. There's loads of different buffs. It also allows you to generate more miracle dice. And anyone that knows anything about Sisters of Battle is they live for miracle dice. So part of the Sisters of Battle sort of lore, the thematics of Sisters of Battle, is that they are devout worshippers to the God Emperor, right? And they don't have, like the Space Marines, like super strong power armor that can just, and they don't have 2 hearts and all the rest of it. They are just standard women that are devout in their faith and, you know, believe that the God Emperor is going to save them. So what the game designers did is they designed a thing called Miracle Dice, and it is what it says on the tin. It gives you an extra dice when a miracle happens, or when something basically happens in the game. You can get a miracle, so the God Emperor will look upon you and give you an extra dice to roll. That dice, you then roll that, and that number, whatever you roll, then stays in your pool, and you can use that miracle dice at any time that you deem necessary. There is a few limitations, but pretty much any time in the game. So if I roll a 6, for example, and I put that into my miracle dice pool, that stays there until I need a 6, and then all of a sudden, if I've got a gun that I'm using and it's not particularly strong, and I would need a 6 to do any damage to this big tank or something, I can just use my miracle dice and replace that attack roll automatically with a 6. Boom, there you go, done. Hits automatically. Or if you want to use it for the wounds, use it for the wounds, or the damage. Whatever it is you want, you can use it for. Again, within limitations. So this St. Catherine's, Triumph St. Catherine, allows you to get more miracle dice. So obviously the more of those miracle dice you can have, the more opportunity you're going to have to do big damage. So it's really cool. So not only does it look kick-ass, it is kick-ass. And the fact that you can choose X amount of benefits every turn from it, it's just mega. It's quite costly, so it's 200 and I think it's 230 points now. So it's come down a little bit. That's quite expensive for a Sisters army though. But yeah, it's come down a little bit, but it's good. I think it's pretty cool. So I'd love just to have it on the battlefield to use just once. Even if I only use it once, I just think it's a cool model. There's so much going on. It looks so good. Like, there's no way you can't put this on your table and play it. So that's the reason why, Adrian. That's why I've done it. It was cheaper, and it was super powerful as well. So everyone that played Sisters was taking this, basically. It was like an auto include. But then it got nerfed, and then people decided, right, it's not worth the points, and now it's not got the benefits that it used to have. So yeah. And then that's why it's sat in a box for so long, because it lost its appeal to have. And then I just thought the other day, oh, sod it, let's just do it, let's just build it and have it on the battlefield. So that's what I'm doing. And it's a nice model to paint for you guys as well, because there's so much, like I say, so much going on. There's so many little bits on it. It's quite an interesting model. Well, I'm guessing it's an interesting model. I could be completely wrong. There we go. The sarcophagus is just crying out to get looted by a group of orcs. How very dare you. It's protected by some fierce women, mate. And they will beat them orcs up. They'll beat them orcs into a pulp. Well, within reason. That it's not the most super powerful unit when it comes to what it can do in terms of damage. As I said, it's more about the buffs that it gives to the units that are around it. So yeah, so the chances are the orcs would probably take it and wipe it off the board. Because orcs are actually pretty tough. Especially in melee, so hand-to-hand combat, they're really tough. Whereas sisters, not good in hand-to-hand combat. Apart from Paragon Warsuits, they are good in combat. Everything else, though, very average. So they tried to talk to the Blood God, but Nurgle was the one who was talking. Nurgle said, "Join me and all of you if you." Oh, okay. So Nurgle was tempting your Space Marines that you've written a successor chapter about. Should have stayed with Khorne. Need some more paint. Stick some of that in my white palette. Crikey, 5 minutes too. I'm going to have to do my hobby horror moment. So, hobby horror moment every time, towards the end of the show every week, we talk about a moment in our hobbying life that is frustrating, is annoying, is painful, is upsetting, and is a bit of a horror. Hence the name Hobby Horror. And this week is certainly a hobby horror. So at the beginning of the show, I showed you 3 boxes. The 3 boxes were the new Marneus Calgar, Cato Sicarius, and the Victrix Honor Guard. So this used to be just 1 box. And it used to be Marneus Calgar with his Victrix Honor Guard, and he had 2 of them. And that's it. That was in 1 box, and that's what you bought. And that's what I've got and painted. This one is now split between 3 boxes. And technically, you could have 4 if you wanted 6 Victrix Honor Guard. So they've kind of changed how the unit works now. The unit can have minimum of 3, maximum of 6 Victrix Honor Guard. They can have the Captain's Cato Sicarius, and then they can have the Warlord Marneus Calgar join them. Now, I went to the shop the other day with my buddy, and I said, "Oh, I'll go get those because they're really cool." And I tell you what, I almost had a friggin' heart attack when I saw the prices of the boxes now. Box sets as a whole, and this is my horror moment. I'm just whinging about pricing. Like, how the hell is Games Workshop charging the amount they charge now for a box? It's now like 50 quid for a box. And they're plastic minis, for God's sake. They're not made out of some special metal. They're plastic. You know, they're plastic, what are they? Pre-injection moulded plastic. And it's like, come on, man. 50 quid for a box. It is an absolute insane price. So from this unit going from 30 quid as it started off, now if you had the 6 Victrix Honor Guard plus Cato plus Marneus, you're looking at about 120 quid or something like that. That's the it's absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. And that's just the general price of their models, full stop. And I've used this one as an example because I bought them the other day, but I bought them from a shop that had discount on them all. So I did save a bit, so I didn't spend as much as what I just quoted there. But it's still absolutely disgusting. You know, boxes are now Scout Squad box, 50 quid. for a scout squad. A scout squad, £50. That is insane. That's so expensive, and it's got to a point where it just feels like models are out of reach. So what I would suggest to you all is to get yourself the Vinted app. So I'm not sponsored by Vinted, by the way, just in case anyone asks. They can sponsor if they'd like to. But Vinted is a second-hand selling app. It's a bit like eBay, so you can put your items on there, whatever it is you've got, put a price on there and sell them. And people can offer you prices and all the rest of it. And I tell you what, that is a great place to buy Warhammer. Some people do try and charge the earth for their Warhammer still. However, you can pick up some really good bargains, and I mean some really good bargains. I missed out on an awesome bargain the other day of some heavy intercessors. Now, if I was to buy the heavy intercessor box set, that is 38 quid or something for 5 models. And they were on Vinted for £15. And I bloody missed it. I marked it as a favourite, and then I missed it. They sold, and I was gutted because I actually want those models for my army because they're quite a good unit. So Vinted is really, really good, and you can avoid this huge pricing markup that's just gone on recently, where it's kind of driving people to doing things like 3D printing. So you're going to see a lot more people 3D printing. I know I've kind of spoke about this before on the channel, but it just seems now that it's inevitable that, you know, people are going to go to this because it's just too expensive, full stop. You know, people don't earn enough money to be able to pay these kind of prices. And it's just going to turn people away from the hobby, which is really sad because it's a great hobby. You know, with great people in it, and it's well worth playing. But at those kind of prices, I can see why people are turned away, people are put off, because it is just a lot of money to spend on some models. It is crazy. So yeah, try and get some off of Vinted. I've got quite a few previously. Even ones that are poorly painted, I bought a Redemptor Dreadnought that was really poorly painted, but he was really cheap. So I think I paid about £15 for him rather than paying the full price of about 45 quid or something ridiculous. So paid it and then just fixed him. Fixed the model. I didn't even strip the paint. I probably should have, but I didn't strip the paint. I went for speed. Sprayed blue over him. Because I'm obviously putting him in the Ultramarines army, and done some detail and revived him, and he looks awesome now. So save yourself some money, get on these second-hand sites is my suggestion, or go down the 3D printing route and start to 3D print your own stuff, or have a friend that does it for you. One of the two. Very much worth it. Righty, what we saying? Oh, hi Melissa, how you doing? Optimus is in as well. Oh, crikey. Got loads of people jumping in, so I was waffling away there on my hobby horror moment, whinging about pricing of Warhammer, and loads of people are jumping in onto the stream. How are you doing? So tonight we have done the base. We've finished off the base, and we've started on this sarcophagus as well. So we've got the bottom painted, and we started on the sides, and we will start to do St. Catherine and a skeletal self that's right in the middle there. Let's just leave that there. What we got? Who's saying total rip-off for some plastic? Saw one small single model the other day, 25 quid. 25 quid Optimus is pretty cheap. Some of them are 30. It's really gone up, and it's quite scary. How's saying the ladder seen the death of his brothers, Oh, the leader, do you mean, has seen the death of his brother's friends. Nogel said, join me and no one will die of you humans. He didn't want to. He said, yes, and all of the Marines that died was alive, but only Sick was in. Ah, okay, got ya. Oh, Love Hearts coming in. Love Hearts. Adrian is saying, how? Sounds like the Death Guard lore. Yeah, I think it is I think it's a similar Death Guard lore. I think that's what he was going for. I'm good, thank you. Yeah, not too bad, Melissa. Ticking along. Just at the end of the show now, so I'll change my camera across. Now we've finished that. Back to this view. Oh, I'm a tired boy this week, but I am good. Thank you for asking, Melissa. I hope you are too. Hope you've had a wonderful week. And I hope the rest of you have. Oh, Pel's on there. Let's go. Oh, no, mate. I'm so tired after last night's Fortnite. Oh, I'm knackered. I'm absolutely knackered. I was so tired this week. Or today, sorry. But anyway, just catching up on any of it. Yeah, okay. I think I've caught up on everything. Well, let's just wrap up because it's 9 o'clock. I hope you're all good, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Remember, do something geeky, all right? Go out, whatever that geeky thing is, whether that's painting Warhammer, whether that's going to Comic-Con, whatnot. Go and do something geeky and enjoy your life. Immerse yourself in a little bit of escapism. Get away from the harsh realities of the hideous world we live in. Well, it's not hideous in all its entirety, but elements of. And go out and do some fitness as well, please, all right? If you can do 2 things this weekend, go for a walk and go and do something geeky. Even if it's just watching a bit of Warhammer on YouTube, all right? Go and do something geeky. Go and do your steps, all right? Get yourself out there. Look after yourself, all right? Thank you for every single one of you. I appreciate absolutely all of you that are on the stream tonight. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Make sure you drop a like on the video once it goes live, after it gets posted. Comment on it. Share it with your mates. Share it with your mum and get your mum to sign up to Minis-N-Muscles, and let's boost the channel and let's get our subscribers up there. Apart from that, have an absolutely wonderful weekend. Enjoy it. Stay safe. Keep on geeking. Keep on fitness. And I will see you all very, very soon, if not in the Discord. Take it easy. Ta-ra for now.
Minis-N-Muscles, we're heroes, right? The dying world's still modern skies. Rushing air, where power we fight. Strength that breaks you, light in the night. Where the brawn meets the brawn. The story's told in this land of imagination mode. With every stroke, adventures unfold. Minis-N-Muscles, heart and soul. To explore, roll the future, hear the dice roar, gaming realms of muscles drawn, together in this place where we belong. Golden spells casting dreams until the dawn, leveling up and the world to follow. With painted heroes shining bright, venturing